One of the greatest issues of the music industry is because of Taylor Swift, but it's not Taylor Swift's fault. Let me explain. I don't think it's any sort of secret at this point that Taylor Swift has an outsized effect on the music industry. There's actually even a phenomenon where she'll release an album or have an album release that's coming up, and other artists will move their album release date specifically because Taylor Swift is coming. And that's been the case for a long time. That was pre Eras Tour, this was happening. But one of her influences that I don't see get talked about as often, but I think is really important to talk about, is the way that she's changed what it means to be an authentic artist within the music industry. We all know at this point that authenticity for Taylor Swift is found through her songwriting process, and that's a major aspect of why she is as successful as she is as an artist. And of course, record labels have responded to this. Just like any other industry, it is important to continue to make money in the way that you see as most successful. At this point, it's common practice in the industry that if you're a major label artist, then you are, to at least some extent, writing your own music. And in fact, it can often be seen as inauthentic if you're not one of the only songwriters in the room. But this wasn't always the case. The music industry actually used to rely specifically on songwriters for songs to be made. For example, you had Motown or Tin Pan Alley, where there were songwriter farms that were intended to be used for artists. It used to be understood that an artist can still be an artist even if they're not the one that's writing the song. We've now hit a point where we have people that we're expecting to be really good performers, but they're not that great performers because they focus so much time on their songwriting, or the other way around, where they're not that great at songwriting because they're more of a performer, but we're expecting them to be songwriters when they never should have been. I think this is part of what makes K-pop such an interesting industry to me, is because it actually straddles that world still, where you have artists that are artists, but they're not the ones that are often writing the songs. And it can be impressive when they are the ones writing the songs, but it actually can also be a liability.